Today I'm walking you through a full beginner friendly makeup routine for women over 40 who want makeup to make sense. So the first step is going to be brows, and I'm using the NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. You can choose to use whichever brow gel you currently have or wish to purchase. Remember, brows are personal because everyone's brows are different, but the job of the brow gel is to shape, hold, and define your brows all day for longevity. Now I'm applying my Maybelline Master Primer. Primer usually sits between your skincare and your foundation, and the job of the primer is to help your makeups last longer and to go on easier. Typically, you want to apply in those areas where you feel your makeup breaks down the easiest. That's going to be my T-zone. So I'm applying it here and in these areas because my smile lines, that's where I typically feel my makeup breaks down the soonest. Now my foundation of choice in this video, because that changes quite often, is Estee Lauder in the shade 6C2 Pecan. Estee Lauder is an outstanding foundation. It is known for its long wear and its matte finish. Think of your foundation as your base. It has to be even in order for everything else to go on top of it. If it's not, everything else just breaks up. One thing I want you to be cautious of when you're putting on your foundation is to do it in light layers. You see me putting on dots and then I blend. If I need more coverage, I'll come back and put on more. Make sure that you build your foundation evenly. Now this step you're probably used to seeing at the very end. However, we are going to set our face right now. What this is going to do is allow our foundation to settle into our skin, and it's going to allow us to have a more natural finish as we continue out our makeup. I'm using the Maybelline Lasting Fix Setting Spray. You don't need a lot, and set it down, let it dry, and you're good. At the end, we will use this again. Okay, ladies, for my beginners, 1, make sure you conceal according to your face shape. If you don't know your face shape, I do have a short linked in this video. You can check that out. Number 2, if there was any product that I would splurge on, it would definitely be concealer. 2, that I recommend highly for us over 40. 1 is going to be this one I'm using here, NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer. And the other one is the Haus Labs Concealer for depuffing. When I tell you, those are great for our maturing skin. There are others. However, those are the 2 that I recommend. Also, if you want to keep it natural, I would say go up only 1 shade. Highlight those areas. You're doing this to bring things forward, and that's what concealer does. So for me, I'm going to use it in the areas in which you see because I have an oval face, enhancing the features that I already have. So now we have our base, which is our foundation, and we have our first layer of product, which is going to be our concealer. We're not going to blend it yet. We're just going to apply it. Next, we're going to go in with our bronzer. I am using LYS. However, if you want to experiment and you want to try a cream bronzer, then I'm going to suggest LYS because of the pigment. Shades are beautiful, and because of the stick, the way that it's made, you can easily apply it. Keep in mind that the foundation is going to flatten your face, your concealer is going to highlight your face, and so your bronzer is going to bring that warmth back to your face. So in those areas that you naturally have a shadow, that's where you're going to apply your bronzer. And you want to make sure you apply it, you touch that bone on your face and apply it right there, not in the hollows, because that's where contour goes, and don't go anywhere past your eye. That's when you start to change the look of your makeup. So keep it feminine by keeping it behind your eye. Your foundation is your foundation. Your windows would be your concealer, and then your bronzer is going to be the bricks that you lay onto the house because it brings that shadow back in. Don't forget that. Now, honey, here lies the things that I love. The blush is the color on the walls. That is when you walk in and you begin to paint your canvas. Liquid blush, it depends on the brand of liquid blush, but yeah, it can get pretty bright, pretty colorful depending on who you use. Just start light. And that's my recommendation whenever it comes to using any type of liquid products. Always start light. Do something that works for your skin tone. So go ahead and paint those beautiful canvases, ladies, but make sure we're painting them according to our house. Because we've got a townhouse, you can't be painting for the Victorian house over there, okay? Just saying. I did my makeup in steps so as to not lose time. So while you're doing the other areas, let your concealer sit, because the longer it sits, the more pigmented it is. And then you go ahead and blend it out. Next, you're going to see me go ahead and do my eyebrows. Now, what I use is the Refi eyebrow pencil in the shade Dark. We're doing this now because remember we applied the NYX Control Freak. It is now dry. And what we want to do is go back in on that dry product, just fill in those fine lines. Don't go outside of your natural brow structure in order to create your brows. If if you're going for a more natural look. Keep your strokes small. All you're doing is defining your brows. You want to start in the tail of your brows. You can darken the tail and leave the front lighter so you get that ombre effect. My suggestion is going to be to make sure you find a brow pencil that has a very fine tip. This is important, and if you have not seen my natural eyebrow routine, I have that as well linked below, and you can check that out as well. When you are concealing under your brows, you want to use a matte concealer, not the same concealer you have used under your eyes, because when you get ready to do eye makeup, you want to make sure that that area is dry, matte, and can set down with powder and then get the pigments on top of it. Anything that is wet on your face, it needs to be set. And if it's not set, it moves all day. And if it moves all day, you begin to look oily and your makeup just doesn't look flattering. Starting with our bronzer, this time a powder bronzer. And I love NYX powder bronzer. Plus it smells amazing. Have you guys smelled this? You're going to use that in an angled brush and just tap it onto your face. I like to do a buildup of my bronzers, so that's why you see me using 2. You do not have to use 2. I like the shade of the NYX bronzer, and I also love the shade of the L'Oreal Infallible. It's a darker shade, so it gives me a gradient. Now we'll go in with our NYX powder. It's the same shade, pretty close to the blush from e.l.f. After I let that concealer sit down on my face, then I went ahead and blended it in with the Morphe M132 brush because it's just amazing. And then we'll go ahead and set down our concealer with the Laura Mercier setting powder. This powder has been around so long. It is amazing for mature skin. It is so finely milled. Only powder that I have loved more than this one has been the Givenchy old formula. Hands down, I love that one, but they don't sell it anymore, so we go back to the oldie but goodie. I'm setting every place that I put my concealer. Estee Lauder doesn't really have a powder foundation that matches my skin tone, so I go in with the 360 from Maybelline to set my foundation. And then we move on to the eyes. When I'm showing makeup to you all, I want to keep it as simple as possible, so using a bronzer on my eyes is simple. The Sephora Micro Smooth, this is an amazing product. I love this because it doesn't really give too much pigment, so I just use it to blur any harsh lines that I may have. When you see me use the powder on my cheeks, I use it to push that powder in so that it's not as stark. And then I go in and I set my face with the same setting spray that we used from the beginning. Too easy. Make sure you use enough of it to actually set your face. Your face should be wet. If it's not wet, we're doing something wrong. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do my eyelashes. I don't really wear lashes. What you see is a primer that is from Morphe. If you've never used a primer for your eyelashes before, try it. After I use my primer, I go ahead and put on my mascara and then I curl my lashes. That has changed the look of my lashes by curling my lashes. Mascara does just that. It just enhances your eye. If you notice, I don't put on any eyeliner. What I would typically do is just apply some of the bronzer onto my lower lash line, and that's it. The last product that you see me using on top of the setting spray is gonna be my highlight. Make sure you are very light-handed when it comes to the highlighter. Remember, you can build it up, but it's very hard to take it off. Okay, so I thought that was it, but it's not. We're doing lips. All you have to do is use a brown lip liner. This is the Plump Ambition Hyaluronic Lip Oil. This is from L'Oreal. It does have a tingling effect to it, but the shade is gorgeous and it keeps my lips very moist all day. So this is the one you should actually get. So let me see if I can wrap this up by giving you the house reference so that you won't forget. Your foundation is your foundation. Your concealer are your windows, your contour is your bricks, and your blush is the paint on the walls. Build your house. I have a lot of faith in you that you will build this house and make it a home. And once you know the steps, it's quite easy, right? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that when I drop video, you will be the first one notified, and drop that first comment.